Darkness falls across the land, midnight hour close at hand. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. As the Microsoft Flight Simulator community have been persistently asked for a Lockheed C-130, yesterday we got our wish, but sometimes be careful what you wish for has never been as relevant. Captain Sim, of all developers, has released their C-130, and it has lowered the bar even further for them. I don't need to tell you about the debacle of the 777 from last year, which was essentially a shell of a 777 with 747 guts, including systems, 4 engines on displays instead, on an actual 2-engine aircraft, so on and so forth. Late last year, they have blessed us, quote unquote, with a Boeing 767, which had a cockpit that was a copy of their cockpit from the 777. Why is this happening? This is the C-130. It is literally now fully just a shell. I will look at this brand new, created from scratch tagline and think this is some sort of humor on their part, some sort of an elaborate trolling prank on a community, because they never took Microsoft Flight Simulator as a real viable platform and have stated upon its release that it's not a serious simulator and they have no plans for it, and then they proceeded to release products for it. But I digress. I'm not some sort of a MSFS fanboy to an extent where I don't use other flight simulators. I still have Prepared and Explain installed on my system, and I use them both. So I have no dog in that hunt. But this here has no cockpit. When you read the website, it first tells you that it's a highly detailed and accurate digital replica of the C-130. Cockpit and cabin with 3D windows and pilots. But that's under the exterior section. If you will look under the cockpit and cabin section, it tells you that there's no virtual cockpit, exterior model only. And the miscellaneous features say that it also has stock MSFS 20 sounds. I don't really know which sounds they used, but can you think of a single aircraft in Flight Simulator 2020 that is a default aircraft that sounds remotely anything like a 4-engine C-130 prop would sound? No. That's not even remotely close. So there's zero immersion to this. This is all sold for $14.99. What happened? I'm going to suggest an idea that's an opinion of mine of what happened here. We're looking at a brand new demographic with a Microsoft Flight Simulator, with the Xboxers coming around, and with the platform having more users than any of the previous simulators combined, basically, at this point. There is a lot of money to be had. The question became, well, do we actually do work for this, or do we do it in the amount, in a way that would amount to the least amount of effort, but the one that produces the most amount of money? And this is the answer. If you will look at their pricing, let's just go to their online store. Let's pull up the old Prepared products, which are excellent, by the way. I own them, every single one, for Prepared 5, and they're very satisfying aircraft. Authentic sounds, authentic cockpits, everything works. They're not quite PMDG level, but they're very satisfying to fly. And the base pricing for that aircraft was, if you will look at their website, the 757 baseline base model. The 200 was the Pratt & Whitney version base pack was $75.70, and the Rolls-Royce expansion was $30 on top of that, and then the freighter was $50, and then the what is this? The I don't even know what this is, but they found a way to nickel and dime, even with the base price of the aircraft at 75.70. I don't own the expansions for these aircraft. I just own the base models, but there's the pricing for prepared, and the Lockheed TriStar, the 1011, the pricing was $50 for a base aircraft, and then the expansion for the cargo was $20 more. So that's $70 right there. The 767 pricing was $80, and then you had, about $35 more of expansion. So let's say about $105 for both of the 767 variants, and the 737 Classic, the 300, 400, 500, they were $50 for the base model, and then $20 for expansions. So that's prepared. Let's look at Microsoft Flight Simulator 2020. The 777 product line is, the initial model was released, that was a 200, and it was priced at $30. Subsequently, about a month apart, the 300 and the cargo came out. They were priced $20 each. They're all independently purchasable, right? So you don't have to purchase the base pack like you did for prepared, but you could just purchase, the initial one. So they, of course, priced it higher for the initial release and lower for the subsequent ones. But if you add those numbers together, okay, so that's $70 right there. Basically, the price for the aircraft remains exactly the same, except because now they don't actually have to do any simulation of any engines. They're packing it with default 747 guts from Asobo, from Microsoft. They didn't have to do any work there. They didn't include any of the sounds. They didn't do any of that work. All of that, except for just a visual shell of the outside model, comes from default stuff already in your simulator. All they provide is a good-looking exterior and a cockpit. That gets them $70. The 767 was basically an expansion to that, because the cockpit that they used was a 777 cockpit. So this is an exterior shell of a 767 with the cockpit that they did for the 777, okay, and the same Asobo 747 guts. So that's another $30 for them. You see what I mean? This all amounts to the least amount of effort for maximal gain. With a C-130, they just didn't bother even that far. $15, they just sell you something that you can fly out of the chase cam view on your Xbox and be happy with. Now, if that floats your boat and that you consider to be flight simulation, then, I don't care. That's your prerogative, and you can go play GTA 5 and pretend that that's also a flight simulator. But regardless, this is the mentality, I believe, behind why this is happening and why this C-130 product exists. I hope this makes sense, and I hope that what you get out of this is that I will just show you one simple thing. Let's go on Sim Market, and you can see that there are developers that, look at this, Wing 42 just recently put out a Boeing 247, as high fidelity as it gets, that they put basically years of work into. This was a project in the making since Microsoft Flight Simulator came out, and they're selling it for $20. Go support these guys. Go support any other guys. Go support people that do good work. If you care about the future of what is available to you as a consumer on the market for Microsoft Flight Simulator. Support those who actually put in the work. And don't give the money to the people who are out to simply capitalize on the least amount of effort. If you care about what products are offered, it is your choice to vote with your wallet. That is all I have to say, ladies and gentlemen. That's the story of Captain Sim. Thank you for listening.